So I'll do another 5 minute, I think. 2-3-4-2. I could be in big trouble here. 2-3-4-2. I'll play my pet system anyway. Knight c3, Grand Prix kind of system. I was prepared already for bishop c4. Tempted not to play it. I'll play d3 instead. Close Sicilian. Against play knight g3 f5. That could be handy. Or is he going to stop f5? Is he going to castle here? This diagonal could be sensitive. Knight g5, queen h5. I think knight g5 here could be dangerous. Actually, f takes. So it's like bishop bishop h3. That could be troublesome. I think this is a bit dubious, isn't it? Castling queenside. I might have take some bishop h3. How would he defend e6? What's this guy been up to then? What's his sort of stats? He's been up to 2, 4, 6, 8 on bullet, 2, 9, 2, 1 on blitz once. Blimey. Right, if I take and then bishop h3, that should be troublesome. Knight f7 takes. I don't think that's any good. Is it? So I think bishop h3 here should be good. Also there's knight h5 potentially. Ooh. Knight e6, although my king's behind all this. If I knock out well actually I've got to protect this bishop now actually. There's also bishop f4 to consider, knight g7, bishop e5. Bishop f4, knight g6. So bishop, queen h3, like queen h5. That protects the bishop at least. So I'm threatening knight g7. Also queen e5. Oh, this is good. Queen h5, interesting. Taking over this side of the board. Swanson style takeover on the king side. Forget where his king is for the moment. Loose pieces. Threatening knight g7, queen e5. Time for a Diet Coke. Oh, I'm mixing it with water for early on. I think you might be in trouble here. I'm optimistic here. Some weaknesses in the last move or something. Knight g7, okay, he takes with his queen, he protects everything. Or does he? Bishop h6. I think that's good anyway to undermine his position. Also queen e7, maybe knight f5 or rook f5 will put more pressure on e5. So rook f5 could end up sacking the exchange, I suppose. With bishop c8, I'll play rook f1, takes. Knight moves, maybe f6, then bishop f4. I get passed pawn here. I think I'm going to do that because he's weakening his light squares. So I get big passed pawn and weaken light squares at the same time. And also I want to undermine e5 again. So I think that's pretty cool. I get to play f7. I don't want g3 being a disaster particularly though. Okay, so I'm on, maybe bishop g7 is also a good move coming up, but I'm just a bit wary about this. knight g4, bishop f4. So f7 here, knight takes. That bishop g7 is winning the exchange back. Takes. Bishop g2, what about bishop g2? I think bishop g2 for a moment, just on that weakened light squares. Now a4, just to lock. Right, see what he's doing. Quite a few more weaknesses. So queen f5 to e6 to d5, or queen f5 to e4. Okay, f7 here takes. There's nothing tactically disastrous just yet. Bishop h3, queen c6. And he stops this this idea. Actually, there's queen d5 here hitting that and threatening queen a8. I think I'll do that. Queen. Oh, hang on. He just takes. There's no queen d5. Alright, I'll take the exchange back anyway. Take on h7 greedily. There's a rook h8. I don't think that's deadly because queen g7. Let's go for that. Right, if I just secure this side for a moment. So I want to play queen g7, maybe bishop e4. Oh, munch time, is that? Bishop e4, trying to dismantle these knights. Where's the knight move? I think bishop e4 will be a good start. Okay, if the knight moves, what about queen g7? Queen g7, his queen's way out. It's getting short on time, so if the knight moves queen g7, I don't think queen c2, so queen g7 double attacks quite a lot, probably enough for the time being, or maybe not. Maybe you can't get enough double attack. That's a shame, isn't it? Queen g4, knight f5, rook f2. It's got a check. Is it that deadly? I hope not. What do I want to do here? Knight h5 to f6. I want to overload this knight. So he's going to play a check, or he's going to get his queen back. Best course of action. Queen's going to be a nuisance somewhere over here, coming onto a few squares. I think here for a moment it looks safe enough for knight f6. If I can start to undermine that f8 rook, so knight f8 next. Queen e3, there's no major checks in sight. He's a bit overloaded here, surely. I get knight f6 in, so queen e3, knight f6. I think the position starts to crack a bit after knight f6. Into the last 20 seconds. Okay, so knight f6. Is he aiming for some sort of queen g5 cheek pattern? I think I'll take with the queen, dispelling the illusion of being materialistic. Maybe just use the h pawn sadistically. In fact, if I check and then bishop g6 and just use the h pawn, I don't think he's got a particularly fast pass pawn in sight. So bishop g6 after knight d6 and then just h4, h5. I think king g3 to support the rook. Alright, let's go for it then. Okay, he's got a pass pawn. Okay, it's getting a bit tense. Get the king over here. Get back to this pass pawn. I can just take here, surely. He hasn't got a check. I think it's broken here. His position's broken. It's playing on. Headless chicken. Okay. I enjoyed that. Very tense. A 2-3-4-2. Wow, that's quite high on the 5-minute auto pairing. But he's been up to 2900. He's quite a scary guy on his profile. He's been up to 2900 on the 5-minute auto pairing. No, 2500 on the 5-minute. On the, I think on the Blitz. On the Blitz, he's been up to 2921 in May 2007. 2921. Whew. Carlos Alvarado Rodriguez. Okay, so very tense game. So yeah, I thought that would be enough, this position, but maybe, yeah. Comments or questions on YouTube? Thanks very much.